We didn't leave any room for our legs. So you see that baby over there? Sitting over there in the corner? I know you can see it. We got something real special for that thing. But that's kind of... Stay tuned for stage 3. What's going on, Octane fans? And we've got something really special for you going on today. Jim's been out of pocket for a few days, so we decided to make a little hush-hush stage 3 action on Project Jeep Power Wheels. So we've done a few purchasing, some cheap kits. We're going to drop those links for you down below. But we started with a front suspension kit. We have got a front suspension kit, wheels and tires, and steering going on that frame that's on the lift back there, and we're going to utilize this Jeep body. So it's still the same Jeep, but it's going to be stage 3. We've got a big 24-volt motor for it that spins at 2,500 RPMs. We're going to pump 36, 48. I don't know how many volts to it yet, but a lot. We're just going to see how far we can push this thing. We're going to keep these Ryobi batteries in here for this build with these adapters that we purchased on the previous build and just see what it does for it. So let's get started. All right, so first things first, we need to build a mounting bracket, basically, mounting bracket, if you will, for the upper and lower control arms and for the shock. We don't know what angle we're going to set this guy at yet, but we're going to attempt to set these up parallel. That's going to be the easiest setup for us. We're not going to try and be doing a bunch of hills or anything like that yet, no jumps. It might do it, we don't know. But first things first, we're just going to set this thing up with super square geometry. So first step, we're just going to measure from the center of this bolt to the center of this bolt, determine what that mounting hole distance is, and these being parallel to each other, the rear mount should be at the same exact distance. So we're looking center to center, 5 inches on the money. So we're going to cut up some angle iron, 4 pieces to be exact, 1 for each side, so 4 total, and it's 5 inches center to center. So we're just going to cut them. I don't know, how big's that bolt hole? So we're looking at roughly a 3/8 bolt. So 3/8 and 3/8 is 3/4. So we want a 1/4 inch on each side. So that puts us at 5 3/4 plus a 1/2 inch. I don't know, what does that make it? 6 1/4. So we're going to cut 4 pieces, 6 1/4, and start popping some holes in them. Let's get started. So while the squareness of these cuts isn't that crucial for what we're doing today, we try to do our best to keep everything as square as possible. So we're just going to take our trusty speed square, make sure we left this thing pretty square the last time we used it. Need to make a little adjustment. It's all right. You want to see something cool? Let's go check it out. So we just picked up our brand new Snap-on EUV with a power drawer in it. Sorry, I had a little scratch. Maybe it was sparks, I don't know, but it's too hot to be wearing pants. Anyways, so we've got this thing set up with all of our power tools in it. So instead of just grabbing a grinder, which I could, I have this little grinder. I think this will work perfect for this application. So let's get to it. All right, so now that we've got all of our pieces cut, laid out over here, we need to go ahead and punch some holes. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna weld this flat side, this one of these flat sides, to the existing frame that's already there, wherever up and down it needs to be. The other side is going to have 2 holes in it, exactly 5 inches apart, and that is where our control arm is going to mount, upper, lower. And they sit roughly like that against the frame. And then we cut these bottom pieces basically to sit in here like this. So our completed frame, once we get everything set up, welded out and whatnot, will essentially look like that with the control arms and stuff in here. We don't yet know where the shock is going to mount. Don't know. Don't care. It's going to go where it's going to go, wherever it fits the best. So we're going to get this set up. I hope nothing in this area interferes with the steering. I don't think it will, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. This is just going to be the simplest, quickest way to get this done because Jim's going to be here in like 2 days, and I want him to show up and be like doing wheelies on this thing. So we're just going to knock it out and roll with the punches. Oh. So I cut all these pieces at exactly 6 1/4 inches. Now they're about a 64th and a 32nd off. So anyways, we're just going to consider it 6 1/4. The math with that is 5/8 of an inch in gives us exactly 5 inches. So 5/8 and 5/8 together, we have 10/8. That's 1 1/4. So 5/8 in each direction. So I'm going to scribe a mark here at 5/8. I'm going to get a different scribe. So I'm going to scribe a mark here at 5/8. And then 1/4, 5/8 is just an 1/8 over half, so we'll go to 3/4 and an 1/8. So yeah, 5 5/8. Boom. So we've got our 2 marks here, exactly 5/8 of an inch in. Just double check that measurement, make sure those are 5 inches apart, and they are. So we'll just take that line, move it over until we find center, which is there. And come over here to center, which is there. What I'm gonna do, it's probably not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to do this on every single one.
So, right there. Right there. Right there.
All right, so I keep a lot of these 1/8 inch drill bits, double-ended drill bits around. I use them for absolutely everything. They're awesome. I get them from Harbor Freight. Shh, don't tell anybody, they're cheap, but they do last a significantly long time. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start all of these holes with the 1/8 inch drill bit, and then step it up. I've got 2 step bits, one that starts just a hair smaller than 1/8 inch, and I'll punch that hole up and then go to my larger step bit. So. So all we're currently trying to accomplish is to be able to get this bolt to fit through that hole. And it doesn't fit yet, so we're going to step it up till it does. So I like to start with a smaller step bit. We're just going to punch it until we get the much larger step bit to fit in there. And keep on keeping on. So we've just about got the entire frame structure here mocked up. All we needed to grab was our trusty speed square. Got the welder pulled up. We're gonna plug this thing in, get this thing tacked together, get it ready to slide in place. We still gotta build the upper mounts, but that's not gonna be too difficult at all. So let's get started. So we've got the frame section completely welded out, sitting over there cooling off. We're about to attach the upper and lower control arms and the coilover shocks on there. All right, so while we wait for those to cool off, we're gonna go ahead and cut all this old front stuff off. So let's get started. To assemble our front suspension kit, K-member, whatever you want to call it. Our front suspension was getting assembled, and we realized that this kit didn't come with bolts for the wheels or lug nuts. So we got to make a quick parts store run. So we're going to do that. We'll be right back. All right, so we've got the front suspension mocked up. We think we've got steering figured out. Shock mounts we think we've got figured out. But first, before we add that in there, we want to see how this Jeep body is going to fit. So Odin and Axel are about to flip this thing over, figure out what tools they need to take it apart. We're going to take the axles out, front and rear, and just have a body left. So let's get started. All right, so check it out. We missed quite a bit of filming. We've gotten quite a bit done. Just the final, you know, putting the steering column in, got the motor in down there, but it's hot. It was so hot, my phone couldn't even record. The thermostat over there above the AC that's not finished yet said it was 124, and it's 7 o'clock at night. We've been at it all day. I'm tired, but I'm not stopping until this thing is done. Jim's supposed to be here tomorrow, and I'm gonna have a little surprise. We tested the motor just a second ago. It's nasty. It had so much torque, it like hopped off the floor jack. So I don't know what it's gonna do. It might fly, it might not, and I was just with 12 volts. We're throwing 36 at this thing, so right off the rip. So it might be too nasty. We'll just pull a battery out and only have 18 volts. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Here we go. I think it's time to tighten everything up and put the body on it, run a couple wires, and see how absolutely stupid this thing's gonna be.